Всем привет! Рада всех приветствовать! It's Russian with Sasha, and today we're going to talk about conjugation of verbs in Russian. I think that this topic is very important for all Russian language learners. I won't go into tiny details, and we are not going to discuss all the verbs and all the forms. I just want to give you some basic significant information that will help you to conjugate the verbs that we often use in daily speech. This week, my cards in Instagram will be devoted to this topic, to the conjugation of the verbs. So, if you haven't seen my Instagram page, I strongly recommend you to do that. The link is in the description. So, if you're ready, let's get started. First of all, I want to remind you that there are two conjugations in Russian. We'll call it «е» conjugation and «и» conjugation. What does it mean? «Е», «и» conjugation. It means that with the pronouns ты, you, he, she, it, он, она, оно, you, polite, or you when we address to more than one person, вы, and we, мы. With these pronouns, ты, он, она, оно, вы, мы, in first conjugation we'll use the letter «е», and with the second, «и». For example, the verb «знать» is the first conjugation verb. So, its conjugation will be «я знаю», I know. Я знаю. Ты знаешь. You know. Ты знаешь. You see? Е, знаешь. Он, она знает. He, she, it knows. Он, она, оно знает. Мы знаем. We know. Мы знаем. Вы знаете. You know. Where you is several people. Вы знаете. Они знают. They know. Они знают. And now the second conjugation verb. Говорить. Я говорю. I speak or I tell, I say. It depends. Я говорю. Ты говоришь. You speak. Ты говоришь. You see? И. Говоришь. Он, она говорит. He, she, it speaks. Он, она говорит. Мы говорим. We speak. Мы говорим. Вы говорите. You speak. Вы говорите. Они говорят. They speak. Они говорят. So, now we know that there are two conjugation forms, and our next step is to find out what verbs belong to the first conjugation and what verbs belong to the second. For example, you have the verb играть, to play, играть. How to figure out is it a «е» conjugation or «и» conjugation verb? Well, it's not very difficult. The second conjugation verbs are those which have the ending «ить» in the infinitive form, like помнить, to remember, or учить, to study. It's quite easy to remember verbs with endings «ить» have «и» with pronouns you, he, she, it, we, like ты помнишь. Не помнишь, but помнишь. Он помнит. Она помнит. Мы помним. Вы помните. Next rule is that there are some verbs that have the ending yet. However, they belong to the second conjugation group. Here are those verbs. Видеть, смотреть, ненавидеть. Вертеть, терпеть, обидеть. И зависеть. Видеть is to see. Видеть. Смотреть is to watch or to look at. Ненавидеть is to hate. Вертеть to spin. Терпеть to endure. To stand. To endure pain, for example. Обидеть to hurt. Зависеть to depend. So, 7 verbs to remember. Видеть, смотреть, ненавидеть. Вертеть, терпеть, обидеть и зависеть. Moreover, there are also 4 verbs with ending at in infinitive that belong to the second conjugation. Here they are. Держать, дышать, слышать, гнать. Держать is to hold, дышать to breathe, слышать to hear, гнать to drive fast. So, let's summarize. What verbs belong to the second conjugation group or E group? First of all, the verbs that have it at the end in the infinitive form, like, for example, учить, to study, помнить, to remember. Next, 7 verbs with yet at the end that are exceptions. Видеть, смотреть, ненавидеть. Вертеть, терпеть, обидеть и зависеть. And 4 verbs on at. Держать, дышать, слышать и гнать. All other verbs not mentioned above are first conjugation verbs or ye verbs, where we have ye with pronouns you, he, she, it, we. Like, for example, most verbs with endings on at. Знать, to know, понимать, to understand, работать, to work, отдыхать, to have a rest, спрашивать, to ask, отвечать, to answer. There are also such verbs as, for example, the verb хотеть, to want, хотеть, that have mixed conjugation. We have я хочу, ты хочешь, он, она хочет, but мы хотим, вы хотите, они хотят. So, tell me please, what conjugation is the verb завтракать, to have breakfast? Завтракать. Is it the first conjugation or ye verb or the second conjugation, e verb? What do you think? Завтракать. Well, of course, it's the first conjugation verb because it ends on at and it's not an exception like держать, дышать, слышать, гнать. So we have я завтракаю, ты завтракаешь, он, она завтракает, мы завтракаем, вы завтракаете, они завтракают. You see, in this verb we have the stress on the first syllable, and all next syllables must be pronounced without a stop, without a stress, and without proper clear pronunciation of vowels. Завтракаю. Not завтракаю, not завтракаю, but завтракаю. Okay? Next thing we should discuss is how actually to form at least the first person form. We have the verb видеть, to see, for example. Видеть. And how to say I see. Well, first, let's have a look at the verbs with at the end from the first conjugation group. With some of them, you just have to put away t plus soft sign, t, and add you. For example, делать, to do. Делать, я делаю. I do. Понимать, to understand. Понимать, я понимаю. I understand. Думать, to think. Я думаю. I think. Знать, to know. Я знаю. Very close is the last form with the pronoun they. Они. You just have to add t at the end. Like я думаю, они думают. I think, they think. Я думаю, они думают. Я понимаю, они понимают. I understand, they understand. Я понимаю, они понимают. Я знаю, они знают. I know, they know. Я знаю, они знают. What about the second conjugation verbs? Here, in some cases, we should put away the ending t in the infinitive form and replace the letter e with you. For example, infinitive form is говорить, to speak. Говорить. The first person form is говорю. Говорю. We put away t and replace e with you. Говорить. Говорю. Учить, to study. Я учу. I study. Варить, to cook, to boil. Я варю. I cook. Помнить, to remember. Я помню. I remember. Quite easy here is the third person form with the pronouns he, she, it. Он, она, оно. We take the infinitive form and just put away the soft sign. Like говорить, он говорит. Учить, он учит. Помнить, он помнит. We won't discuss all the forms here because it's the sort of information that is difficult to understand without actually seeing it. That's why I recommend you to check the forms on the internet or to visit my Instagram or Facebook page where I'll put cards on the conjugation this week. There are also verbs that form the first person form in a little bit different way. It's better just to remember these forms. For example, the verb жить, to live, has the first person form я живу, I live. Жить, я живу. The verb брать, to take, will be я беру. Брать, я беру. Here is a small poem I composed for you where you can find 8 such verbs in a first-person form. Listen. Рано утром я встаю. На работу я хожу. Выходных я очень жду. Отпуск часто я беру. Езжу часто в магазин. И плачу я за бензин. Далеко я живу, а автобус не люблю. I wake up early in the morning, I go to work, I'm waiting for the weekend, and I often take vacations. I'm going shopping often, I pay for gas, I live far away, and I don't like the bus. This poem you can find in the description. I advise you to learn it by heart. And that's all for today. I hope this episode was useful for you. If you have any question, please ask. You can write me wherever you want. Instagram, Facebook, mail. All the necessary links are in the description. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye bye.